And good afternoon, everybody. This is Vinny Milletti with the Milletti Law. I am the owner, founder, partner of the world's most jacked law firm, the world's most jacked attorney, Milletti Law, the strongest name in law, where we're all unusually motivated, and this is how we roll. The date today is August. What is it? What is today? Today is Tuesday, August 17th. This is another quick video. So last month we started introducing our monthly series on codes of conduct. It was titled "The 12 Unique Canons of Corporate Conduct Made Easy for Employees." The 12 Unique Canons of Corporate Conduct Made Easy for Employees. This is part 2. Essentially, this was born out of the fact that because of COVID, a lot of restrictions were happening. Companies were shutting down. Companies began merging. And what you're seeing is the larger companies are eating the smaller companies. And, they're starting to build like a larger corporate culture. So what you're having, what will wind up happening is a lot of like local guys and girls that aren't familiar with the corporate culture are suddenly now being dragged into it. And this series was basically just to kind of like introduce you to that culture through ways of codes of conduct that most corporations do set forth. So this way, it's a smooth transition. People get nervous when they're going into new environments and new settings. So this was kind of a way to kind of like alleviate those problems. So we wanted to introduce a series of just general, very easygoing videos that spoke about like these specific conditions, about these codes of conduct that work hand in hand with employee handbooks. So just to reintroduce it just for a second, a lot of times, what happens is that more like in the larger corporate culture and the larger corporate companies, they have what's known as codes of conduct, conflict of interest policies, which are ancillary to the standard employee handbooks that most people have. So generally speaking, this series is trying to kind of like merge and blend the two together to let employees know, first-time corporate employees know, that transition isn't too bad and that it's not a really big deal. Okay, so this is part 2, all right? This part is going to deal with another specific issue. An issue came up. Let's say you receive an email, right? You're an employee, you're a company now merged with a larger corporate employee. You're a middle manager, let's say. You do have access to confidential information. You have access for marketing tools, have access to analytics, stuff like this. So you get an email from what seems to be a consulting agency. And in this email, you're solicited to provide consulting services, informal consulting services, or even like a paid consultation where they're looking for stories and guidance on certain items in whatever you're in the industry for. So for a perfect example is, let's say you are in e-commerce. You work for, let's say you work for Amazon. Somebody wants to come up and be a challenge at Amazon. You get reached out by a consultant and they want you to just kind of like discuss with you, your time on, what's needed to have a successful e-commerce website functioning and operating, but they'll pay you for your time. You kind of think like, hey, getting paid for my time, this is cool. We can speak off hours, not on hours, because I'm not speaking on corporate time. And, I'll tell you, when you need to be successful, what I think you need to be successful in terms of e-commerce. Well, here's the issue, right? That's a problem, because generally speaking, most codes of conduct have what's known as conflicts of interest. The main conflict they're speaking about is conflicts in which the employee stands to gain personally based off of something they either learned or proprietary information or developed through the corporation. So, perfect example, let's say our person who's getting solicited on how to, on Amazon, let's say, our person getting solicited, let's say he or she has a unique perspective on how Amazon targets clients or how Amazon targets, potential distributors on their website. By this person speaking to that paid consultant, to that consultant agency that's looking to pay him, it's just even informally, by him speaking to them, him or her speaking to them and telling them how it's done, how the targeting is, the behaviors that they're looking for, how the targeting is projected, who they target, information like that, though it doesn't sound that crazy, that person is disclosing confidential information for his or her own private benefit, for him or her to be paid based on that information that they're disclosing out, right? So that's a conflict of interest off the bat. Every company that has any kind of code of conduct will prohibit conduct in which the employee is going to personally gain, or the representative is going to personally gain by disclosing information, tactics, or anything that is derived from the company or from the company's service or products. And the second portion of that's a problem is the confidentiality aspect. What if that employee might not even realizing that he or she is disclosing confidential information? You know, what if that particular method is something that Amazon prides itself on? You know, it's a particular targeting method that Amazon genuinely believes gives them a competitive advantage against others. And here's this employee, you know, just disclosing it out to people, not even realizing what he or she is doing. So that becomes a big problem. So now you've violated two situations, right? You violated a general code of conduct, the conflict of interest generally, right? And now you also violated confidentiality. And I'm sure there's other things you violated too, you know? So just like, so when you analyze this specific situation, right? The random consultant emails you, says, hey, I want to know, get a little bit of information on, you know, your targeting services for, you know, how you determine what vendor is going to be on the platform, you know, what's your job at Amazon. You know, keep in mind that this person reached out to you for a paid consultation. You know, this person is looking to put money in your pocket, okay? He or she is looking to put money in your pocket so you could benefit off of what your experiences and what you've learned from the corporation. You know, they'll come across as these benign investors or benign individuals, or just generally good guys and gals that want to, you know, just see what's going on and get a quick question and understand everything and understand the situation, but we'll pay you. Keep in mind that everybody's self-interested. If someone's reaching out to you, they're likely taking that information to their own advantage, or they're going to sell that information elsewhere, and they're going to give somebody else that economic advantage that Amazon had while you were working for them and you were handling their business on their behalf. So, look, generally, you're always cautious against using specific company know-how, proprietary information, basically anything you do at your job. I mean, I generally, and I'm a little excessive, I generally have two separate silos for my work life and my private life. Nothing in my work life gets disclosed in the home area, nothing in my home life gets disclosed in the work area. I generally have like two very private and different silos, almost two completely different personalities I have between my work world and my personal world. You know, a lot of times I do that because I deal with a lot of confidential information of clients, or, you know, I deal with, just generally, I deal with a lot of confidential information overall. So protected information. So I never want it disclosed. Anyway, but generally speaking, that's how you got to look at it. Anything you've derived from the business setting, from the corporate setting, you should not be using to your own benefit. In a private setting, whether that be just giving advice to somebody on a pay-for basis, or deriving any benefit in exchange, maybe giving advice for discounts, giving advice for coupons, or whatever the case is. So that would be the second. That'd be the second unique canon. The second unique canon that we want to talk about, you know, that we had mentioned, is simply put, as an employee, you do not, as an employee for every corporation, you do not want to put your own personal interest. It sounds crazy because you're working there for your own personal interest, right? But you cannot put your own personal interest, your own personal benefit ahead of the corporation. You have to go through it. Whatever you do related to the employment context must be to the benefit of the employment context, to the benefit of the corporation. And you should never, ever, ever, ever do any act, take any action that solely benefits you based on proprietary knowledge and information and experience that comes from the corporation. Otherwise, you're going to run into a conflict of interest and you're going to run into confidentiality issues. So, in conclusion, if the employee receives an email from what looks to be a consulting agency or some other kind of interested person who wants to get your take on a certain proprietary measure, or maybe a marketing tool, or maybe something that involves how that business you're working for, how they run, how they operate, how they function, will give them the advantage, run for your life, delete the email, tell them you're not interested, and move on. Because at the end of the day, you want to run afoul of any violations. And this was part 2 of the 12 unique canons of corporate culture made easy for employees. There will be another one next month. Do I know what that concept is yet? I don't really know. By now, I have them written down somewhere. But all of you who know I'm not particularly organized when it comes to this stuff. I just like to speak. Okay, then. So, look. So, this is it for the second video. Thank you all, everybody, for joining us. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I mean, I'm just constantly dumping content out day after day after day and providing value. Like, I don't mind. Like, this is something I enjoy doing. I enjoy this much more than being in the courtroom. But if I have to be in courtroom later SmackDown, I will. But, you know, I actually genuinely like this stuff more. So, subscribe today. Join the newsletter. Frequent the website daily. I always have new stuff up there all the time. Try to be entertaining. And if you have any questions, you know where to reach us. Yours in love, lifts, and law, the most jacked attorney in NYC. Keeping our fans and viewers unusually motivated. Have a wonderful day.